look for as well. So my main focus is going to be fat loss for the point of this seminar, but it can still be turned into muscle gain and energy, okay? Because energy comes anyway when you're doing the right thing with the fuel that you're taking, right? If I go to a petrol station and I put bad fuel in my car, how far will that take me? Or when will my engine start giving up on me if I don't have good fuel in my car, yeah? You would know all about it, don't you, Jeff? I felt like you got interested then, talked about the cars. Yeah, so it's really important when we're fueling your body up, we're fueling it with the right things to give us the right energy, and that's what I really want to simplify today, okay? Please let me know if there's questions along the way. We've got quite a bit to go through, and I was hoping for you to all be able to get home so you can get your 8 hours of sleep by tonight, especially if you've got an early start. By 8:15, but we may run over. Okay, let's get started. So I've been in the industry for 10 years, and I guess the biggest thing I've noticed in the industry is just the confusion that we have around nutrition. There's just so much, and like I hear it all the time. I read this, I read that, I Googled this, and there's just so much information that it can become so confusing. I think for everyone in this room, you have to look at yourself as an individual, and you've got to see what works best for you. Full stop. It doesn't matter what I tell you today, you have to do the experiment on yourself, and you've got to see what works best for your body. We can definitely give you recommendations and feedback towards what we believe are going to work the best, but you also have to experiment a little bit with that. Would we agree? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about in order to achieve long-term results. So if you've been at Real Fitness for a while or just started, you probably know that we do focus on sustainable fat loss, okay? So quick fixes for us just don't get a long-term result and can do more damage than good most of the time, okay? Why is that? Mostly because the amount of muscle mass you lose in that time. So this is my little pyramid I've created here. 7 steps to get to our result with with any sort of result that we're looking for. So we've got sustainability and adherence, caloric deficit, exercise, self-monitoring and tracking, protein and fibre intake, carbs and fat, macros and supplements, which will go towards the end. Okay, now our main focus again, I'm going to be teaching you how to get the ball rolling. But again, it's going to take your individual calories and macros and however you're self-tracking to be able to get to that result, okay? When we're looking at goals, so you probably set all goals at the start of your program, yeah? And you've said, I wanted to lose 8 kilos in 12 weeks, or whatever it is, yeah? That's what we call an outcome-based goal. Would we agree? Yeah, because it's a certain number by a certain time. What's the problem with that goal? Like, it's good, it's great, but what is the problem? Does anyone know?
Disappointing if you don't reach it.
Disappointing if you don't reach it, yep. What else?
It doesn't say how you
Love it, very good. Good, excellent, Eva. It doesn't tell you how you're going to get there. So I could go, okay, I want to lose 8 kilos in 12 weeks. So in my first week, I want to drop a kilo to get the ball rolling. So what do I do to drop a kilo? We all know what to do. What do we have to do? Drink lots of water, yeah, there's many ways to do it, I guess. Exercise. So eat less and exercise. So I eat less and I exercise, and guess what happens? I drop the weight, yeah? But I ate really, really low and I exercised my little heart out. So I did that for 1 week. What happens the second week? I might continue it because I'm seeing a bit of momentum. What happens the third week?
You probably lose interest.
Lose interest, yeah, because maybe that whatever I did for that last 2 weeks was not really sustainable for me because it was just too little food and I'm starting to feel burnt out, yeah? Because I'm just exercising my little heart out, trying to eat less and less food to get to my result. Does that make sense? Who's experienced that before, yeah? So that's what the problem is with outcome-based goals, is that we're trying to get to a result and we're just working off outcomes, rather changing how are we going to get there, which is what? Outcome versus behavioural, yeah? So we want to focus on behaviour changes. Who's noticed when you're doing your weekly report with your coach or with the semi-private accountability, what's the main thing we're asking? About your behaviours. It's about changing your habits, guys. Habits is what you are. It creates your relationships. It creates your business. It creates your job. Like why you're good at what you do is because of the habits you've created. Who would agree? Yeah? It's exactly the same with our nutrition. We need to work on healthier, better habits to work towards the 8 kilo weight loss. Would we agree with that? Anyone have questions around that? No? So setting weekly goals around habits are going to be way more effective than just going, oh, okay, well I want to get to 8 kilos, so I'm going to lose a kilo this week. See how that's not effective? Yeah? And then the brain goes, okay, well now I've got to lose a kilo this week. How am I going to do that? So give me an example of how I could lose a kilo this week. No, let's say half a kilo. It's more realistic and sustainable. Anyone? How can I do it? Drink water? On that note, is that how you lost all your weight? The secret comes out, you lost like 10 kilos. All of a sudden, it's laxative. Oh, I have to tell Brandon about that. All right. But no, it's not laxatives. We're going to go into how you're going to do that now.
That's a very good word.
Now you may have. Okay, cool. So I'm going to give you the 7 easy steps. Now, I say easy very lightly because change is difficult for anyone, okay? Sometimes it's harder for others than some other people, yeah? But your body is adapted to the weight it is now, yeah? Have you ever noticed you might fluctuate between a certain number, yeah? Even if you're trying to gain muscle, your body is, and you want to put on weight, your body's sort of like, what do you mean? Like I'm changing? And there's this whole like mental body fighting each other going, no, like don't, you're safe, you're comfortable in here, okay? So change is hard, but when you get the momentum and when you have accountability and a support, it makes it so much easier, okay? So, you guys are lucky. All right, so we're gonna go into sustainability and adherence. That's our first one and our most important one. First and most importantly comes sustainability and adherence. This means the most important factor in long-term fat loss is finding a program that can sustain and adhere to long-term. So if you've got a wedding in 4 weeks and you want to lose 6 kilos in 4 weeks, I could do that. Yeah, you could do that, 100%. Is it sustainable for me? No. I might look good on my wedding, but how am I going to feel? Not great, yeah? So when we're looking at our sustainability and adherence, we always want to make sure whatever you do is going to work. It's just making sure that you stick at it. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you maintain and you stick at it and you're adherent to it, you will get a result. The problem is you might go 2 weeks into something and then realise it's not for you and it's not working. And so what do you do after that? You give up. You try something new on the market or a new supplement that burns fat, yeah? So we need to find something that's sustainable and long term. Who would agree? Yeah? Who wants to lose the weight but also then keep it off? Yeah. You've got to learn the tools. We've got to learn the tools. In the diet you're doing, if you can't see whatever you're doing now to be doing in the next 6 months, 6 weeks, 90 days, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 20 weeks, it isn't right for you, okay? Because it's not sustainable. And of course there's going to be a little bit, of course we can't just eat chocolate and pizza and Maccas for the rest of our lives and expect a different result. But we've got to make changes within that to be able to make it long term. But still, what are you looking at her? All diets work, the key is finding something that works for you. Okay. It takes 6 months, guys, as well, to create a new lifestyle. 6 months. So it's not a quick fix, it takes 6 months to create a new lifestyle. Okay, the second one here is a calorie, we're going through this quickly, this is good. Not good, but like, yeah. Calorie deficit. I just thought it would take forever to talk about it all. Alright, caloric deficit. So next comes the caloric deficit. This is the second most important key to fat loss. In order for fat loss to occur, the body needs to be in a calorie deficit. Just like if you wanted to gain muscle, you have to be in a surplus. Make sense? So if we want to lose weight, we need to be in a deficit. We want to gain weight, we need to be in a surplus. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as it's something that adheres to principle 1, which is sustainability and adherence. Good. The 80-20 rule is excellent, and that's something we really, really try and encourage with our clients. The 80-20 rule is what? Does anyone know?
80%.
Yeah?
Exercise.
No. So 80% good food, 20%
Relax.
relaxed. Good work, Mel.
I know something after 3 years.
So it's 80% healthy food, yeah, good food, and 20% relaxed. Now that relaxed, that 20% relaxed, I want you guys to have. Because if I don't allow you guys to have that 20% relaxed, is this going to be sustainable for you? No. Will your relax change over time?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah? My relax used to be, what did I used to do? I'm trying to think now.
Relax.
No, I worked on a cruise ship. It was awful. Yeah, peanut butter sandwiches. I don't know. Anyway, the relax has changed. The relax now is coconut ice cream. Yeah. So it's gone, and that will change for you guys as well. 20% relax right now might be dairy milk chocolate. 20% relaxed in 6 months' time might be what? A dark chocolate. Perfect. Good. Excellent. Yeah. So it changes over time, and allow that process to happen. And how does that 20% make you feel? You guys have to get like more in tune. Good. What did you say? Good.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel good, then it makes you feel good. But you start getting more in tune with how that meal made you feel. How did that burger make you feel? How did those chips make you feel? Have them. Don't feel guilty about it, but how did it make you feel? Okay? And have that 20% so you sustain this. The main goal is though what? You have that 20%, but you stay within your deficit. So you factor your life around it. This is when it becomes more sustainable and long term, because you can have those things. You're not saying, I'm never having chocolate again, because what happens? And dark chocolate's actually got some really great benefits in it as well. Okay? So not dairy milk, but dark chocolate. So yeah, that's what I'm doing that. There are 2 things around nutrition that usually is a reason why someone is not getting their result as well. Actually, I'll go through this for. So how do you find if I'm in a caloric deficit? First of all, if you're part of RFT, you would have had these done at the very start. If you haven't, you just need to check in with your coach, because maybe they were working more on habits first and then now want to work more in a caloric deficit. So what we do is we find out your BMR. We do that through the ultrasound machine, but you can also do it through your waist measurement and your weights, okay? You times that, so just say my BMR is 1200 calories, yeah? I then have to add activity, because you guys move all day. If it's 1200, that's 1200 if I'm just doing this all day, okay? Which is not realistic, right? So I times that by activity. Now, that can range from 1.4 to 1.6. For an athlete, it would be sitting more around 2 times their BMR, okay? When I do mine, I sit mine at the higher end, so I'm at 1.6, okay? So you times that by that, and then what do you have to do to get into a deficit? What's the most important step? It's find out how much fat weight. So if you want to lose weight, this is the same if you want to gain weight, just for those that want to put on muscle, yeah? You need to work on the pound of fat. So a pound of fat equals how many calories? 3,500 calories. So in 1 pound of fat, there's 3,500 calories. Does that make sense? I haven't lost anyone? Yeah? So a 500 calorie deficit will give you a half a kilo a week if you're tracking Monday to Sunday. This is if you're tracking through an app. Okay, if you're not tracking through an app, you don't want to use MyFitnessPal. I'll be talking about that later, how you can do it. Okay, this is for everyone. But if you're getting serious and you want to, you're finding yourself stalling a bit and you want to get better results, this is a great way to do it. So you get a 500 deficit will give you a half a kilo a week if you're tracking Monday to Sunday. And I really highlight this bit, Monday to Sunday. Because Monday to Friday, what would you eat? You're in a routine, guys. Like, I'm exactly the same. I'm in a routine. I've got breakfast, I train, I've got lunch, like everything's routine, habits, yeah? It's habits I've created. But Saturday and Sunday, I'm here and then by midday I haven't eaten all day, so I'll just have a massive breakfast. I was only talking about this Mitch the other day, how much, we had so much food. I think it was like 3,000 calories in one sitting just for breakfast. And then by night time, you're more relaxed. You're eating differently on the weekend, okay? So you need to make sure if you are eating differently, that is okay. But track it, factor it in, guys. Factor that extra wine in if you're going out for dinner. Does that make sense? Factor that, whatever it is. Factor it in. Monday to Sunday, that's what we want to focus on.
So, Vicky, sorry, as long as it's in your
Calories.
Calories.
Yeah. Calories
So
and macro.
have that glass of wine, as
Yeah.
long as it's in,
Yeah.
don't go over.
Okay. This is where I'm saying I'm talking a lot different to what I've done seminars before. I know that alcohol's poison, yeah, and that's going to have an effect on your liver and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, this rule will always apply for fat loss. Always. So you just factor it in, yeah? So if
Makes
you want,
sense.
and it makes it more like, so now you can go and enjoy that wine without feeling like you know, had to stop your whole life to diet.
Vicky, with the 80-20,
Yeah.
what is, like let's say over a week, what is 20%? Is that 1 meal? Is it 2 meals?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's for the day. So 80% of the day is really good, and 20% is a bit more relaxed per day.
Per day.
Per day, well,
that's
So
so
it's
way
really,
of us.
really good
most.
no, it is per day,
Most per day.
but 20% of a day is a lot smaller than in a week. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it
Just
would,
focus on just one day of the weekend.
it would, yeah, people do different things, yeah. That's a good question though. We'll ask the master when he comes up. Who's that? That's a good question. He's all over that 80-20 rule. Yeah, so over and over again I hear like people are complaining because they're not losing weight, and it's usually nothing wrong with you guys. It's just that we're not in a deficit at some stage, okay? Whether that's we're tracking Monday to Friday but we're not doing weekends, or we're not tracking everything that passes our lips, which is really important. I'll talk about in a second. Exercise. Next comes exercise. So this is crucial for muscle development. It increases lean muscle and will drive up metabolic rates. So you want to eat more, put on muscle. More muscle you have on your body, the more your body's burning fat at resting. Okay? I started when I first started weight training, I was at like 1,300 calories for my BMR. Yeah, now I'm at 1,700 calories for my BMR. So per day, without doing any exercise, my body burns 1,700 calories. Does that make sense, yeah? So the more muscle you have, the more calories your body's able to burn at resting. So when you're doing nothing. So because you all weight train here, guess what guys? You're all burning calories just by being here. How good is that, yeah?
So we have to eat more.
Within your calories. It's also hugely important for cardiovascular health and for energy expenditure. So we can't ignore the fact what our heart does and what it needs to do our lungs. So it's really important for the conditioning phases of your body, but also for nutrient absorption. If I ate really healthy but just sat on the desk all day and did nothing, nothing's actually absorbing into my cells and making me energized, yeah? It's just sitting there stagnated. So that's also important. As you begin to reduce calories, your body will enter survival mode, doing everything in its power to decrease energy expenditure. So this is what I'm talking about with that set point. It will go, what are you doing to me? You need to eat more because you're exercising, you're burning more. It wants you to stay the way you are because it's comfortable there. It's a set point for it, yeah? But lucky we're very clever up here and we can alter that, yeah? So that you remain at your set point, what the body has gotten used to. Don't overdo it though. Match your exercise to your nutrition. If you're going to train 7 times a week, don't eat 1,000 calories per day. Okay, it's going to give you a what result? Short-term result. Because exercising 7 times a week and eating 1,000 calories, how long can you seriously do that for before you play up your hormones, before you're not sleeping well, before you're more stressed than ever before, and then all of a sudden your weight loss will what? It will stall. It will just stop saying, hey, sister or brother, I've had enough. I need more fuel to be able to keep going, okay? Am I making sense so far?
Because we don't want to look skinny. We You want to be.
We want to look strong.
Yeah.
You're right, Roseanne. You
You
preach it.
How much food would you need to eat every day for training 7 times a week? Because I have a really bad habit of just waking up at 12,
Yeah.
having one meal, and then like
Not having a lot of food.
Yeah.
I'd find out your BMR first, and then we'll times that by activity level. Okay. Because you're how old are you as well?
I'm 16.
16. Yeah. So your energy, not just that, but I would be going 2 times your activity because you're active. You're very active and you're young and your body's still got that metabolism going. But yeah, no, good question, guys. Shoot them away at any time. The last point I want to make: if you're moving more, eat more. If you're moving less, wait a minute, within reason, guys, don't get excited. If you're moving less, eat less, because that's really important. If someone gets an injury or they're on holidays, yeah, and they're not exercising, do you just keep eating? No, because what will happen then?
They're all wrong.
Keep eating, and that's why you usually put on weight on a holiday, yeah? So if you're moving less or you've had an injury, like if I have a client that's had an injury, I always recommend them that we just look at your calories again and just shift them accordingly because the rules apply. Move less, eat less. Eat less, eat more, move more, eat more. All right, cool. Fat loss pyramid. So we're going back to here. We're up to this middle stage here, which is self-monitoring and tracking. Let's talk about it. So people get scared of tracking. People are so scared to almost face the truth, yeah? I think it's, like I'm not being biased just because I'm here doing this seminar, but I think it's a really amazing way to be able to not only get amazing results, but to know how much fuel my body needs. Really important. When you take your car to the petrol station and you fill it up, does it just keep guzzling out? No, it clicks and it tells you that's enough. Does your body have that?
No.
That could be my next business.
Take Vicky everywhere we go.
That's enough, Roseanne. Put it down. No, but it doesn't have a switch. Doesn't that just click to you? It doesn't have a switch. So it's not going to say, hey, Belle, enough of that peanut butter, put it away. It's just like you're just going to have it. And if it's simple things like peanut butter or honey or maple syrup or sugar that are really easily like digested, it doesn't take a lot of fiber, it doesn't have much fiber, so it doesn't keep you full. It's very easy to overeat it. That's why it's so easy to eat sugar, overeat sugar, yeah? So we need to know when to stop, and I think that's what's amazing about tracking your food, is actually knowing when to stop, yeah? Who is tracking, just so I know? Yeah? All right, cool. That's all right. There's no judgment, I'm just checking. Next comes up self-monitoring. Within this falls self-accountability. So I love that, and I love being accountable to myself because I know the only person that can change where I am today is myself, no one else. Okay? Any barrier, anything that you want to get to is just your self-belief. Okay? So monitoring yourself and actually tracking it, whether that's, we're going to get into detail of the sorts of tracking you can do, whether that's through MyFitnessPal, FatSecret, whatever it is, or you might be just journaling it for now, you might be using the hand, we'll go through that later. However you're tracking, as long as you're tracking something and you're becoming more aware, and you're not lying to yourself, yeah? I think, you know, if you're licking a spoon of whatever when you're cooking, you've got to track that because there's still energy in. I know, trust me, I do.
It's 100%.
You've got to track it. You've got to be aware that you're eating this. Or what about the nut situation? Like if I have nuts around me, there will be no more nuts left. Yeah, I can eat a whole bin of nuts. Like guess what, guys? They're great. They're a great source of good fats. But what are they high in? Fats, which is higher in what?
Calories.
And it's energy out, guys. So are you going to be in deficit if you have an extra handful of nuts? Probably not. But you could have those nuts, and I'm not telling you not to. Are you tracking your progress? Another thing that people are very scared of. You're so nervous, you're so nervous. We're videoing it, if you haven't noticed, and Belle's on changing video duty, and she's very nervous.
I'm gonna press a button, okay? Big deal.
Are you tracking your progress? So people are so like, and I get it, like especially if you've come back from holiday or whatever, you don't want to see what's happened, you don't want to see the damage, but you don't know where you're at until you know where you're at, until you've actually seen the measurements, you've done it all, and you've gone, oh, that's where I'm at. So now I can make a roadmap to where I need to go. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that part is very important, is tracking your progress. Not just tracking your progress though, if you do personal training, you'll notice every single week your trainer will ask you, your coach will ask you, how's your sleep been? Yeah? How's your exercise been? Like getting that biofeedback. How's your hunger levels? If you're doing semi-karate, you also get fortnightly check-ins, so make sure you use it, FYI. But you get, even like, how's your hunger? How's your sleep going? Yeah? How's your sex life going? These are all very important, okay? Because they're part